Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to a very exciting video. This is one that I've been excited to make for a very long time, and I'm finally getting to it. I first made one of these last year, but that video is my top 10 games that I played solo in a certain year. So last year, I obviously made my top 10 games I played solo in 2022. This year, it is my top 10 that I played in 2023. So yes, these are not specifically games that were released in 2023, but they are just games that I played in the month, or not the month, in the year of 2023. Honestly, 2023 did feel like just a month because it went by that quickly. But yeah, it was a very awesome year, and I'm excited to talk about all of the games that I enjoyed playing solo in 2023. So without further ado, if you guys want to see all of those, then just keep on watching and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Also hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And without further ado, losing my voice, without further ado, let's get into my top 10 games that I played solo in 2023, shall we? All right, so quickly before we get into the actual top 10, I did want to run through a few quick honorable mentions. I'm not going to get into them too much. I'm just going to list them off quickly. But most of these, the reason why they are not in the top 10 is because I played them once or twice, and it's been a bit since I played them. I just don't feel like I got enough plays of them. But the first one that I quickly wanted to mention is Now or Never. I only played this once on stream, and I've been trying to get it back to the table. It is a pretty big game. I think that stream of me playing Now or Never is probably my longest one here on the YouTube channel. I think it was like a 4.5 hour stream. But I really enjoyed it, and I remembered really liking it, and it's just been really hard to get back to the table. So that is one that I quickly wanted to mention. Another one that I wanted to mention is over here, and that is Septima. Another big one that I've only gotten to the table, I think twice solo now, and I really enjoyed it solo, and I do want to get it back to the table more and more solo. So that's another one. And then also Paperback Adventures is another one that I wanted to quickly mention because I only got to play that once on stream, and I haven't been able to get it back to the table. So that one was very fun. It's like a spelling boss battler kind of game that really surprised me. It was actually quite a big surprise to me because I'm not a huge speller and like a spelling game fan. So that one I had a lot of fun with. So yes, those are 3 quick honorable mentions that I just wanted to mention before we get into these top 10. But I do also want to mention that I figured out that a lot of the solo gaming that I did in 2023, I think because 2023 was a really busy year for me, and that is like awesome, I ended up getting a lot of like quicker, smaller games to the table, and I've really enjoyed that kind of just easy to get to the table, easy to set up, quick to play, that sort of game. That was really what I focused on a lot in 2023. So you guys will see that a lot of these are quicker, lighter games, but yeah, a lot of amazing games that I'm excited to chat with you guys about. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so to start off the list of my top 10 games that I played solo in 2023 is actually a very small little game that I experienced for the first time in 2023, and that is Rove. So I think Rove right now where I stand is still probably my favorite button shy game, and I experienced it for the first time in 2023. This is a wonderful little puzzle game. Again, in 2023, it was so nice to be able to just get this game to the table over and over again. Just quick in the evening before I went to bed, I just took this out on the coffee table, or I sat down here while Francis was gaming and played a few games of Rove. That is short form for Results Orientated Versatile Explorer, and I love the gameplay of this one. Basically, you are placing out these different cards into these formations, and then you're going to be trying to, each of the different cards are like modules, I believe, and they can only be moved in a certain way. And basically, you're going to be flipping over a card, and that's going to tell you a formation that you need to move the cards into, or the modules into, in order to move on to the next level. And like I said, each of the cards can only move in certain ways. You can flip over each card one time during the full game in order to use like a one-time ability. But yeah, you're just trying to get through a bunch of different levels. I think I've beat it like 2 or 3 times, but it's just such a satisfying game and so easy to get to the table. So that is why Rove is my number 10. Moving on to another small box game. I think I already talked about this in my favorite small box games of 2023. This is a 2023 release, but I cannot tell you guys how much I played this game in 2023. I'm pretty sure I got it in like the second half of 2023. I think I ended up getting this probably in like August, maybe July. But I've played this one so many times solo and I absolutely love it. I've mentioned it a few times, but that is Mind Space. This is a roll and write, polyomino filling in right kind of game, but basically you have these cards in a row from 1 to 6 and you're going to be rolling these dice, and the dice are going to be 5 different colors, and whatever die number each of those die are rolled to, they're going to be placed in that specific column of that card. So like there's a 1 card, 2 card, 3 card, 4 card, and all of those cards have different polyomino shapes on them. You're gonna be placing the die into those specific numbered areas, and then whatever polyomino shape and color you choose, you're only gonna be able to choose one, and you're going to be putting that polyomino shape into this brain. In order to score victory points in different ways, you have to have different colors touching each other. You can never have 2 of the same colors touching each other, but basically you're putting in that polyomino shape in the specific color of die that you choose. And you're going to continuously do this over and over again until you've played through the entire deck, I believe, and then you're going to be scoring victory points in different ways based off of the things that you've filled in the brain. So all of the different colors are going to represent different things in the brain, and they're going to be scoring in different ways. The pink are going to be scoring for whatever shape you drew with the pink, whatever shape you've drawn throughout the brain in that same shape as the pink one, you're going to be scoring points for. Different things like that. The green gets you money to be able to kind of mitigate your different things that you're doing throughout the game. There's blue and orange and different things like that, and you're also trying to fill in all of the different spaces of the brain, and it is just so satisfying to me. It is easy to get to the table. It is a small box, and I just love it very, very much. So that is Mind Space, my number 9 favorite game that I played solo in 2023. So moving on to my number 8, this is actually another polyomino style game, and this is a polyomino flip and write. So it is a flip and write version of another polyomino game that I love very much solo as well, but this one has proved to be a little bit easier to get to the table. It is smaller and again easier to set up and stuff like that, but that game is the Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. So I really enjoy the original Isle of Cats game. That is one of my favorite games to play solo. I love that game so much. But in 2023, I played a lot of the Isle of Cats Explore and Draw because it's a lot easier to get to the table, it's quicker to set up, and it is wonderful solo, just like the Isle of Cats. In this one, you're going to be putting out a bunch of cards. Those cards are going to have different shaped polyomino cats on them, and you're going to be choosing one of the 4 columns. Some of the cards also do have treasure on them. Some of them have the different like rules that you see in the Isle of Cats as well. And then you're going to be putting those into a boat, just like in the Isle of Cats, but you're drawing them in instead of actually using polyomino tiles. And overall, it gives me that same feeling that I love so much in the Isle of Cats, but a little bit easier to get to the table, and I played it a ton in 2023. So that is why the Isle of Cats Explore and Draw is my number 8 game that I enjoyed solo in 2023. So moving on to my number 7, this is a game that I had really wanted to try for a long time, and I really love the look of this game. I'm like actually obsessed with the look of this game, but so many people don't like the way this game looks, but I freaking love it. I ended up finding this, or my friend Steph ended up finding this for me at a bring and buy in like mid 2023, early 2023. But that game is the Guild of Merchant Explorers. So this game is so freaking satisfying and therapeutic to me. I don't know what it is about it, but basically you are flipping over cards. You're going to be starting at a certain point on a map, and you're going to be flipping over a card, and that's going to determine where you're going to be able to place cubes on certain terrains in order to gain certain things and kind of build out different routes to reach certain things on the map. The thing is that once you've flipped over all of the cards, you're going to have to take all of the cubes away. So you're building out, trying to get to certain like cities or towns or villages, I forget what they're called in the game, but you're placing out, once you've reached these villages, like a marker that is going to allow you to keep it there for the next round. So if you manage to be able to build out to one of these villages, at the end of the round when you do have to take all your cubes away, you're gonna keep that marker on that village, and that's going to again be another like starting spot for you to build out from on later rounds. So it's this very fun game of like trying to reach these certain things on the map and then grow out your routes in order to reach certain things for victory points. Another fun thing about this one is that at the end of each of the rounds, you're going to be getting a really strong card that you're going to be allowed to use at like a certain time each round. Whenever that certain card is flipped out, you can then use your personal ability. Overall, this has been one that I've gone to the table time and time again in 2023. I think I actually already played this in 2024 as well, that I just really enjoy. It makes me happy. It just like scratches that itch of like building out this really cool thing and scoring points in different ways, and I just really enjoy it. So that is why the Guild of Merchant Explorers is my number 7 solo game that I played in 2023. All right, so moving on to my number 6. I think this one, out of all of the ones that I'm talking about today, is the one that I've had for the shortest amount of time. I actually ended up backing this one myself on, I think it might have been Game Found, I believe, but I had a game similar to this one from the same publisher. The gameplay was very similar. I really enjoyed that one, but the theme of that one kind of didn't really vibe with me. It was like a war theme, which I don't love. But this one, it's a witchy theme and plays very similar to the other one, which was Resist. But that game is Witchcraft. So the moment that I saw that Resist, the game that I really enjoyed, had a similar game coming out that was a different theme with some added kind of mechanisms and stuff, I automatically was like, yep, I need to back that one right now. This is from Salt and Pepper Games, and I am so happy that I backed Witchcraft because I absolutely love this game. I love the gameplay of basically you have these 3 locations and you're going to have different cards below each of those locations that are going to be face down. So you're not going to know the like bad things that you're going against, but you're going to have all of your witches in your witch coven, and you're going to have to play out these witches either in their hidden or their revealed kind of sides. So if you do decide to play your witches in their hidden kind of form, they will do something, but it's not going to be as strong as if you were to play them in their revealed form. But if you do play them in their revealed form, they do like go to jail, I think is what happens thematically. And you're only allowed to use them for that one time, and then they are gone and put in the discard pile. So it's this really cool puzzle of holding off on using certain cards for their revealed side because, you know, you're going to have to get rid of it after that, and kind of, you know, figuring out the way to do that in order to defeat all of these bad cards that are below these locations, then ultimately defeat these different locations. And it was very similar, like I said, to Resist, but the additional thing with this is that you do have these different, I forget what they're called, but basically they're each going to have a certain icon that is connected to them. And whenever you defeat certain locations, those icons are going to allow you, each location is also going to have an icon, and each of those are going to allow you to move up on that certain person's track. And then once you do think that, because beside each of those people are going to be 2 face down cards, and those 2 face down cards are going to have numbers on them. And once you think that you are up enough on that person's track, you are going to kind of stop the game yourself and say, I think I've, you know, convinced, I guess they're like people that you're trying to convince you're not bad. You're not like bad witches and you're actually trying to like save your village. Once you feel like you have convinced them enough, you then end the game. You flip over those cards, which I will say that there's also a way for you to flip over some of those cards throughout the game, so you can kind of figure out the numbers of each of those people. But once you do decide that you want to stop and you want to flip over the rest of the cards, if those cards, I believe if your track is higher than the cards flipped, then you have convinced those people that you are not bad. And I just love that part of it. I love being able to kind of figure out, kind of not really deduce, but figure out what numbers are beside each of these people and try to put up those tracks as much as possible in order to convince them as much as possible that you're good witches and not bad witches. But it's so easy to get to the table. I love the art. I love the theme again with the witchy theme. So that is Witchcraft, my number 6 favorite game that I played solo in 2023. All right, so moving into the second half of the games, the next one is, I think, the biggest game of all of these. Pretty close to another one, but this is a game that I have had in my top games of all time, but I actually ended up getting the solo expansion for this game, and I've loved it. I love this game so much. It's still probably in my top 5 games of all time, but I've really enjoyed playing it solo this year, or in 2023, and that is Concordia with the Concordia Solitaria expansion. So this is the expansion that allows you to either play it solo or 2-player. You can play it 2 players. I think it's like a cooperative 2-player game. I could be wrong, but I've only used this for the solo mode. But yes, I love Concordia so much. Again, I think it's still in my top 5 or top 3 of all time. I've played Concordia a few times already this year in 2024, and I love it, and it is just as good solo. And the Concordia Solitaria expansion is very cool, very fun. The really cool thing about Concordia Solitaria and the kind of thing that you do, or the way that the solo is played, is that basically you're going to just have a different set of cards, and you're going to be playing down these cards, and the cards that you're playing down, you are actually going to be able to see what it then is going to make the AI do. So you have some control over what cards you play when, in order to determine kind of what the AI does. So it's this very cool puzzle of kind of determining what you're doing, but at the same time determining what the AI is also going to do, and kind of trying to play your cards down in a certain order that is not going to allow the AI to overpower you and stuff like that. So yes, Concordia Solitaria is fantastic. If you enjoy Concordia, I definitely recommend checking out the solo expansion. But yes, absolutely loved Concordia Solitaria. That is why it is my number 5 solo game of 2023. All right, so moving into my number 4. This is a game that I think I've chatted about quite a few times on the channel, and there's just something about this game that is so fun to me, and again, so therapeutic. I have taken this game out time and time again, just on my coffee table while I'm drinking a cup of tea, watching a show, and it's just so easy to play while not fully having to pay a ton of attention to it. This is also a game that you can play on BGA, and I have played it on BGA a few times solo as well, but I honestly prefer to play this physically because I just love rolling the dice. But again, it's a roll and polyomino style game, so I feel like I did a lot of those, or I really liked a lot of those games in 2023. But the game that I'm talking about is My City Roll and Build. So this is a game that I played a ton of in 2023 again. I do think I got this a little bit later in 2023 as well. I think I might have got it shortly before I went to Gen Con in August. So I got it probably midway through 2023, but I have played through My City Roll and Build, I think twice now, and I love this game so much. And you're probably thinking how can you continue to play it over and over again? It is a slight campaign game where you're going through different episodes and different chapters, and as you go throughout the game, it's going to be adding more that you're going to be scoring on and different things to be thinking about. And honestly, just playing it over and over again, I haven't gotten sick of the gameplay and just trying to beat my own score. Usually I'm not a huge fan of beat your own score kind of solo modes. I do prefer solo modes where you are kind of going against somebody and it kind of feels like you have an opponent that is playing against you. But honestly, sometimes beat your own score is exactly what I need. I just want a game where I can try to look back to what I scored before and then try to beat that, and not so much have to focus on trying to beat, you know, a certain AI opponent. It's just easier to do beat your own score because it's a lot less like pressure, I guess. But yeah, My City Roll and Build has been one that I've really enjoyed. Again, super easy to get to the table, just relaxing, calming game. That is why My City Roll and Build is my number 4 solo game of 2023. Moving into the top 3. So the next one is, I think, the biggest box that I'm bringing out right now. But this game, I think this is the one that has really like gone to my heart the most, I guess, if that makes sense. Like this one I have like grown attached to, and I am so excited for more content for this game. Hopefully they're bringing out more content for this game, because I feel like they could continuously bring out more content and more stories for this game. But this game has just like captured my heart and I absolutely love it. It is a solo-only game from North Star Game Studios, and that is Isla and Something Shiny. Again, this is one that I got, I think midway through. I think I got this when I was at Gen Con in August. But Isla and Something Shiny is the freaking cutest game. It is really, actually, as you get into the game, not as cute. Like, it is adorable, but the story in this game actually gets pretty intense and it is pretty emotional, but I think that is why it has really like captured my heart and really like immersed me into this world with Isla, and I just have fallen in love with Isla and all of her friends, and oh my goodness, I just can't get over this game. I loved it. I think I still have one more chapter to go through, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, I have loved Isla and Something Shiny. It is a very story-focused game, and basically it's a choose-your-own-adventure kind of style game where you're flipping over cards and then making a decision with that card, moving it to the future or moving it to the past. And it's like a little bit of resource management as well, and there's some like puzzling in there as well. And I've just loved Isla and Something Shiny so much, and I can't wait for possibly future, you know, stories in this world. But yeah, that is why Isla and Something Shiny is my number 3 solo game of 2023. The number 2 is a game that I knew I would absolutely love. It is a solo trick-taking game. I'm sure you already know what it is, but is a game that I saw, and sadly the look of the game is not my favorite. I wish they made it a little bit more mature, still having the cute animals, but made it a little bit more mature looking. But the game that I'm talking about is, you probably guessed it already, For Northwood. For Northwood is a, like I said, a solo trick-taking game, and this game is just so addicting. There's something about this game that just makes me want to come back to it over and over again. It is really nice because it is in this like very small box. I love the way the box works. It has a little like drawer that you take out. I feel like the Side Room Games is the publisher of this one, and also the like Orchard, Grove, and Forage trilogy. They all have like done this kind of drawer style box, and I feel like more card games need to have it because it's just so satisfying to me taking off the top and then like having the cards there in the box. But anyways, the gameplay of For Northwood is so addicting. It, like I said, is a solo trick-taking game where you are playing tricks against a deck of cards, which is just crazy to me. But you are trying to win a certain amount of tricks based off of whatever person you are having a conversation with. So you're going to be picking one. There's going to be a line of all of these different critters, and each critter is going to be associated with a certain number from 0 to 7 or 8, I believe. And whatever critter you decide to have a conversation with, the playing of tricks is you having a conversation. You're trying to convince them to fight for you for Northwood. And basically you're going to try to play or win that many tricks. So if I'm playing against the critter that was with the 3, I'm basically saying that I'm going to win 3 tricks. I know by looking at my hand I can win 3 tricks in a specific way or in a certain way. You also have these different abilities that you can use throughout that conversation of tricks in order to kind of mitigate what you have in your hand, because really you can't determine what cards are going to be flipped over. So you're going to flip over a card, and then you're going to play your card, try to either lose that trick or win that trick, depending on how many tricks you want to win, and it's just so addicting to me. There's also a little bit of a like campaign book in here. Or like, I guess it's like a scenario book in a way, because you don't have to do it in a specific like manner. You kind of just choose a scenario and then you try to do it. I guess you could do it in order. I've just kind of gone through and like picked random ones that I've wanted to attempt, but it does actually go through different seasons. So you start out with summer, then you move into fall, and then you go into winter and then spring. So they do have this little like book here that you can go through, different scenarios that are going to give you different specific rules and goals and stuff, which I have honestly had so much fun with just playing the base game that I haven't really gone into all of those, but I do want to in the future. But yes, that is why For Northwood is my second favorite game that I played solo in 2023. Moving into my number one game of 2023, or number one game that I played in 2023. This one, I actually haven't played this in a bit, but I need to get this to the table very, very soon because I miss this game. And the one thing that is kind of holding me back from playing more of this game is that it is a campaign game, so I am eventually going to either lose the campaign or win the campaign. You can actually go back and play the campaign again. It's like a resettable campaign, and I guess like each time you go through campaign, things could be different depending on different things. But yeah, I'm kind of like putting it off because I don't want it to end because I loved this game so much the times that I did play it. I think I ended up playing it a total of like 5 or 6 times. And I'm kind of like equal right now with my wins and my loses. But that game that I'm talking about is from one of my favorite publishers, you guys know, but that is Legacy of You from Garfield Games. So this was their solo only game that they released in, I believe it was in 2023, but this is definitely my favorite of 2023. I loved this game so much and I need to get it again back to the table like I said. Basically, it is a resource management kind of survival game. Basically, you're trying to build the canal before the flood comes. So you're trying to move your boat and stay ahead of the flood. You're also trying to fight off barbarians as well, because if you get overloaded with barbarians, you do lose the game as well. If you do get, or if the flood catches up, you lose on that way. And then also if you run out of cards, you also lose in a different way as well. So there's 3 different lose conditions, and basically you are trying to play down your cards and do a lot of like resource conversion and resource management in order to ultimately build all those canals and beat each of the different scenarios. And you are trying to win 7 games before you lose 7 games. So as of right now, I think I have won 3 and lost 2, or it could possibly be switched and I've won 2 and lost 3. But I kind of stopped at that point and held off because I didn't want it to end. But I do need to continue playing this because I really, really enjoyed it. And I do want to continue on with this campaign. There is a little bit of like story in the different cards that come out and stuff too, which is really cool. And like some cards actually like stick around and kind of contribute to the campaign, which is very cool. So yeah, that is why Legacy of You is my number one game that I played in 2023. I can't wait to get it back to the table and play it again because I do miss it. So yeah, talking about it now has made me miss it very, very much, and I'm very excited to play it again. But yes, that is my number one, Legacy of You. All right, friends, so that is going to be everything for today's video and my top 10 games that I played solo in 2023. I freaking loved all of these games, and hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing about all of them. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Please comment down below what some of your favorite solo games were in the year of 2023, whether that was a 2023 release or any other game. It doesn't have to be a 2023 release, just any games that you played solo in 2023. I would love to hear that down below and chat about that. But yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.